Alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. So here we are with our session number 120. And today I'm going to present to you Surah Ar-Rahman from Quran, and the beautiful Makki surah which was revealed to our beloved prophet in Makkah. And according to very few, they say that it could be Madini surah. However, the majority opinion is this is a Makki surah. It begins with the majestic name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the surah mentions many blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will learn about them, and inshallah we will try to benefit from this surah through our Arabic grammar. Inshallah we will apply whatever we learn, inshallah, and we will try to implement whatever we learn as well. So we are going to attempt first 13 verses of Surah Ar-Rahman. Kindly please keep yourself mute, and inshallah when I tell you to unmute yourself, only then you can unmute yourself. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the first verse of Surah Ar-Rahman, we are going to start Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman. So who is going to give me the Arab of Ar-Rahman? My dear sisters, here is the question for you. And since it's going to be mainly the review, so inshallah, this is the review and this is the lesson today as well. Okay, so Bismillah, let's see what the answers are. So it is our ism that is rafin status, and it is marfu. Ar-Rahman is marfu, and if I see anything beginning with an ism, a verse beginning with an ism, what type of sentence I'm looking at? If the ism is raf in status, listen to the question very carefully and answer accordingly. Okay, whatever I ask, you're supposed to answer that. Okay, so when you see an ism at the beginning of the sentence that is raf in status, be very careful. If you see an ism that is not raf in status, don't automatically assume it to be jumla ismiya. When you see an ism, you have to also look at the status of an ism, and the sense this ism is raf in status, you are going to label this as the beginning of your jumla ismiya. And your jumla ismiya, when you look at it, has how many parts? 1, 2, 3. 3 parts. Barakallahu feek, my dear sisters. You are in business. Barakallahu feek. Yes. So mubtada, khabar, muta'alliq bil khabar, right? There are 3 parts of your jumla ismiya, and I have them here somewhere, inshallah. Let me show you. Every sentence, every jumla ismiya that you're going to look at is going to have mubtada, khabar, and muta'alliq bil khabar. What is special about your mubtada? What should be the status of any mubtada, no matter what? I just need an answer that we have covered in the past 119 sessions, right? Your mubtada should be marfu in status. Barakallahu feek. If your subject is coming with inna wa akhwatuha and is nasb in status, what should you call it then? What is the name I have taught you to give it to that particular ism? Yes, it's going to be called ismu inna, or if it is coming with inna, if it is coming with anna, you are going to call it ismu anna. If it comes with lakinna, you are going to call it ismu lakinna, or later you are going to call it ismu. Because what have we learned? Your mubtada is going to be a raf in status. Okay, so mubtada can be just an ism like hum or huwa, antum, muslimuna, Antum, it can be your pronoun, can be mubtada, it can be a single word, or your mubtada can be a fragment too. And we recently have gone over al-masdar al-mu'awwal. Can that take place of your mubtada as well? Type 1 if you agree. Right? If you see a mubtada, you see a khabar. And if your khabar, when you see a khabar, what is the status of your khabar? In any jumla ismiya, give me the status of your khabar. Barakallahu fi. Your khabar is a rafin status if it is a mufrad ism, and if it is not, then what, my dear sisters? Barakallahu fi. Then if it is a sentence, then we call it fi mahalli raf'in. Barakallahu fi. Very well done. Okay. Now, very importantly, it's very important that, if you see a khabar, it should be rafin status. And if it is, mufrad ism, you're going to call it that, it is rafin status. However, if it is a sentence, then it's going to be fi mahalli raf'in. If there is any change in the i'rab of jumla ismiya, then we start using the term. What kind of terms did we start using for mubtada? Remember? If you have anything that cancels the i'rab, like if you see something that is not rafin status now, I have been teaching you, you are then going to call it, the mubtada is going to be called ismu something, right? If it is anything like kana Allahu is going to kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman. What is going to be lafzul jalala? How will you label it? Ismu kana, right? You're going to call it ismu kana. And ghafuran rahiman khabru kana. If you see something like ma hadha basharan, you are going to call hadha ismu ma basharan khabru ma, right? That's how we have been learning, because your mubtada is either marfu ism, either it is marfu ism, or if it is anything otherwise, it is going to be fi mahalli rafin, and anything otherwise is going to be al masdar al muawwal. If you see any harf nasb or wa is, and you are going to call the subject in that case ismu of that harf nasb. Okay, I hope this is clear to everyone. My dear sisters, type 1 if it is, type 2 if you are still confused about that. Because these concepts need to be very clear in your mind before you embark on this journey. Okay, so let's see. We have called Ar-Rahman mubtada. What should you look for after every mubtada? What is your next step? You should start looking for khabar for that mubtada. And let's see, do we have a khabar for mubtada? Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran khalaqa al-insan allamahu al-bayan. What are we seeing? Is there any khabar? Okay, so I'm seeing answers that allama al-Quran jumla failya is my khabar. Everyone agrees? If you all agree, and I've seen many sisters, I want answers from each and every one of you. You can all type 1 if you agree, right? That is not hard, right? Barakallahu fi. Even if you have joined as a listener, you can at least type 1, right? That, I have understood this. That, every mubtada has a khabar. Every subject has a predicate, right? So here, my predicate is allama al-Quran. Allama is my khabar. So let's now embark in this khabar, which is allama al-Quran. Bismillah. So here I have allama al-Quran. So allama. When you look at word allama, what comes to your mind? Jumla failya. I agree, Sister Ambreen. 100%. When you see jumla failya, madin mudari. Madin. Very well done. Okay. What is the doer in this word? Huwa, right? Huwa is the doer. Is the pronoun huwa visible? No, damir mustatir. Now it's going to be damir mustatir. Okay? Outside door is not must, right? Not every huwa has an outside door after it, right? No, it's not mandatory, right? So allama al-Qur'ana, allama al-Qur'ana, we know Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran. So we are going to just call the Damir Mustatir huwa. Can we call Ar-Rahman outside door for allama? Never. We are never going to call Ar-Rahman outside door for allama. And why so? Outside door, when we learned the rules of outside door, it must always come after the fail. It must always come after the fail. It was not after the fail. You can never call it file. File must be after the fail, right? Though, who are referring to? Who is who are referring to? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahman. But Ar-Rahman cannot be the outside door for allama, okay? Al-Qur'ana. So what is the Nahw for Al-Qur'ana? You have a jumla that is mafulun bihi. I see an answer, mafulun bihi. So jumla failure. Like jumla ismiya had three parts. Mubtada, khabar, muta'alliq bil khabar. Jumla failure also has few parts. And these parts include fail, wa fa'il, wa maf'ul, and muta'alliq bil fail, right? Fail, fa'il, maf'ul, and MBF. Very well done, right? Or muta'alliq. And maf'ul and muta'alliq bil can be either way, okay? So fail and fa'il. We have a fail, allama, failun madin. Every fail must have a file, and we know it. The file in this fail is the mir mustatir, the hidden pronoun, because I don't see anything after the root letters. So the pronoun is hidden in this case, which is huwa, and al-Qur'ana here is mafulun bihi. Type 1 if it is clear to everyone. What is going to be the status of this jumla? Sentence number 2 or verse number 2 is going to be fi mahalli raf'in. Fi mahalli raf'in. Now comes, once you have understood the Nahw of this verse, the next part that comes is the sarf of these first two verses. And I have to go back to Ar-Rahman too, because I still had to do it. So what kind of a word it is? What do you think this word is coming from? What is the wazan of this word, my dear sisters? Fa'alan. Fa'alan. It can be mubalagha or it can be as-sifa al-mushabba, right? As-sifa al-mushabba, right? And this is one I have been teaching you. I started teaching you about as-sifa al-mushabba, and we learned about that this is a quality which is intrinsic to the person or entity, and this is a quality that is always there. However, this particular pattern of sifa mushabba is unique. This is not going to be forever, because the part that in the weight or the wazn of that indicates the foreverness of Rahma is Rahim. When you compare a Rahman and a Rahim, which one has a meaning of always merciful? Which one will have? Rahim has a meaning of always merciful. When it comes to Ar-Rahman, it means extremely, extremely merciful, but it could be temporary, okay? It could be for certain amount of time, okay? It is not forever. Everyone with me, type 1 if you are. If you are not, kindly type 2. I will repeat myself, okay? Because this session is for you all and you need to take home something, okay? Okay. It's not ism tafdeel. Ism tafdeel is spelled on a pattern af'alu. Af'alu, right? This one is fa'alan, right? So does it spell like af'alu? No, it does not, right? So we still have to go over the review of ism tafdeel, and that is why I think I have not posted anything, but we had to start the surah. So inshallah we will go over a review of ism tafdeel after we are done with the Arab of these few verses. Okay, this is not superlative because it is not on ism. It is not ismu tafdeel, so it is not superlative. Okay, it is a sifa al mushabba. It is extremely merciful, but that is it is not superlative. Okay, okay, everyone with me so far. When it comes to flexibility of this word, for all the Bayina students, for all Dream students, a question on flexibility, and we all are very, very, good with flexibility. Ustad has taught us so beautifully that, right? So when it comes to flexibility of the word Ar-Rahman, what do you think? It is, Sister Shamim has already typed her answer, and she's absolutely right that this is partly flexible. This word is partly flexible. Ism. Okay. Who is going to tell me why is this word partly flexible? Alif Noon. Very well done. Okay. This word with al, if a word has al, can the word act like a fully flexible word, which means the word can now take a kasra? Yes or no? Yes. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Right? When you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, noon kasra, where is this coming from? Because al was at the beginning, your partly flexible became fully flexible. Right? Got it? Type 1 if everyone got it. Okay. So now I see an answer. My sisters are saying that if a word has alif noon, word is going to be partly flexible. Is this going to be always true that every word with alif noon is going to be partly flexible? Or there has to be something there for it to be partly flexible? It has to follow certain rules. And today, if you have not gone over, whatever we have learned in the past, today is the day. Okay, inshallah. So Bismillah, we have learned that this word is partly flexible word, and the presence of al, there is no rocket science in there. Presence of al will make it fully flexible. Fully flexible means that word will be able to carry a kasra. Okay, the word is going to be able to carry a kasra if this word has al attached to it. Okay, if it has al attached to it, word is going to be able to carry a kasra. Okay. The next question that I had for you was, is every word going with alif noon ending partly flexible? Let's look at this. Let's look at this one. Do you see in this box any word that has alif noon? Spot the word with alif noon and write it in your chat box. Okay. And my dear sisters, you have to be on it. Okay. Insan, very good job. Husban, very good job. Quran, right? Alif noon. Mizan, but yeah, Mizan. And this, okay. So Mizan, I will take that too. Okay. So every word you have told me about which had alif noon, you gave me that word. Okay. Look at this word. I want you to focus on this word, husbanin. Husbanin. Is this partly flexible? Root letters are ha, sin, ba. Alif noon was extra, ziyada, right? And you are telling me if a word has extra alif noon, word is going to be partly flexible. Every word with extra alif noon is going to be partly flexible. But I'm telling you, there's a problem with that. This word is fully flexible because it has a tanween. Barakallahu feek to Ambreen. It is fully flexible because it has a tanween. And the second thing is, it has a kasra tain without having an al, right? Tasniya is never going to have a tanween, right? Muslimani, right? Muslimani does not have a tanween, huh? It will not have a tanween. Yes, it has to have a reason. And the reason, now you need to Do you have your pens and pencils or whatever your notebooks with you? Or you are just relying on the slides? Please don't. I want you to be fully attentive. However, I want a pencil and a paper with you, my dear sisters, if you don't mind, if it is not too much to ask for. Okay? So, my dear sisters, your word with alif noon is going to be extra alif noon. Ziyada alif noon is going to be partly flexible if word is a name like Luqman, Imran, Usman. What should be they in terms of flexibility? Partly flexible. Okay. Second reason, your word must be on the pattern of fa'alan for it to be partly flexible. Otherwise, it can be fully flexible. Have you ever seen word furqan in Quran? Right? Furqan. What do you think? Should it be partly flexible or fully flexible? Partly or fully? Furqan. Is it a name? Furqan. Is it a name? In Quran, when it is used as is it used as a name? No, it's not, right? Is it on a pattern fa'alan with faul kalima carrying a fatha? Furqan. Furqan. No, it is not on a pattern of fa'alan, which is sifa mushabba pattern, like Rahman, Ghadban, Atshan. It is not like that. So, since it is not meeting these two conditions, it should be fully flexible. Very good job, Sister Nazneen. I agree with you. It should be fully flexible because alif noon extra will only make your word partly flexible if your word is a name, number one, like Imran, Luqman, or if your word is a sifa mushabba on pattern fa'alan. Type 1 if you are all with me. Okay, and I have written on the slide as well, not everyone that is ziyadatul alifun noon is going to be partly flexible. My dear sisters, you need to make sure you stay focused in this class and no distraction, okay? And you make notes because these notes are going to help me, not you. Unless and until you have your own notes, you are not going to retain this information, okay? So it's just for your benefit, I'm telling you. Furqan, when it is name, is another thing. In Quran, Furqan has not been used as a name, my dear sister. So when it is not being used as a name in Quran, and we are learning, the name of this course that you are in right now is Quranic Arabic Grammar. So it is related to everything that is in Quran and how the words are used in Quran. So Furqan, since not used as a name in Quran, is going to be fully flexible because it is not some alam or a name. Okay. Yeah, it is a criterion, right? So, for something that distinguishes, right? So, everyone is with me so far? Yes, it is going to be fully flexible because it is a masdar. It is not, Quran is going to be fully flexible. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be fully flexible because alif noon is there, but it is not. Is it sifa mushabba, Sister Faiza? Or is Quran masdar? It's a masdar. So is it a name? Is Quran a name? Yes, it is. According to some scholars, a name too. But majority scholars, take it as masdar. Majority take it as masdar. So it is out of our criteria. So we can just say that, it is going to be fully flexible. Okay. Asifa al-mushabba is something which is a word that signifies hyperbole, something, a quality that is in a great amount, okay? A quality that is going to be there forever because it is intrinsic to the entity that has it, okay? Majority patterns of Asifa al-Mushabba are going to show foreverness. However, you will see exceptions and Fa'alan is an exception. When we translate Rahman, we say extremely merciful. Ar-Rahim, we say ever merciful, right? Ar-Rahim, fa'il, ever merciful. Ar-Rahman, fa'alan, extremely merciful, but this is going to be for some time, right? This mercy is general and is for some time. And when it comes to the day of judgment, will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be, Allah is Ar-Rahman, but there is going to be a test too. Allah is Sariul Hisab too, right? Does it make sense, Sister Rashida? Okay. So this is so far your sarf and Nahw of verse 1, which is your Mubtada. You figured out your khabar, which was Jumla failure, right? Which was Jumla failure. And let's go back to now your khabar. Your khabar can be Mufrad Ism, your khabar can be Jumla Ismiya, and your khabar can be Jumla failure. If it is either of these two, you call your khabar fi mahalli raf'in. In our class, we have, not used the standard way of khabar. In general Arabic, when you learn about the standard types of khabar, you will learn that there are three types of khabar. There can be mufrad ism coming up as a khabar. There can be a jumla that will be seen as a khabar, or there can be a shubu jumla, which can be a zarf or jar or majroor as a khabar of a sentence. But we are going to follow this pattern. All my new sisters, if you want to continue with this journey, these slides will be shared. And remember, we are following this pattern. We are going to call our khabar mufrad ism or jumla ismi or jumla failure. We label jar wal majroor as mutaliq bil khabar. I hope this is clear to each and every one of you. If it is, kindly type 1. And we have already figured out that our jumla failure is going to be fi mahalli raf'in. Fi mahalli raf'in, because it is a sentence. Now it's going to be fi mahalli raf'in. When it comes to the word allama, can somebody tell me the sarf of allama? Now is the time to tell me the sarf of allama. Is it mujarrad or mazid fihi? It is mazid fihi, because mazid bi harf, mazid bi harfain, or mazid bi salasatil ahraf, which means, is there one letter more? Is there 2 letters more? Or there are 3 more letters? It is al-mazid bi harf, 1 letter more. You can just say 1 letter more, right? So there is a doubling of ainul kalima. So we are going to give it to bab taf'il, right? Babe taf'il, because ainul kalima is extra. It's doubling of the ainul kalima. So it is going to belong to babe taf'il. When it comes to mudare of allama, what should alamatul mudare must have? Pesh. Why? Why in allama alamatul mudare must have dhamma? Must have dhamma. 4 letter rule of the past tense. Very well done, Sister Faiza Ali and Sister Shamim. I agree with both of you. And you, for all the sisters who have just joined, kindly remember this 4 letter rule. If your past tense has 4 letters like allama, count the letters. Ain, letter number 1, 2 lams, and then comes a meme. So how many total letters we have in our past tense? 4 letters, right? If you count those letters, ain, lam, lam, meme. Barakallahu feek, Sister Shamim. Very proud of you. So these 4 letters qualify. In Arabic, there's a rule. If your past tense has 4 letters, your present tense is going to be having a dhamma on alamatul mudari. Okay? Allama yu'allimu, jahada yujahidu, akhbara yukhbiru, waswasa yuwaswisu, basara yubasiru. Why is this yuwaswisu? Because there were 4 letters in madin, which qualifies for mudare to have a dhamma on alamatul mudari. You are always from now onwards going to count your letters on your in your past tense, and those letters must belong to the word. If your word has allama, which is alif, which is the sign of the dual, that there are two people who taught, that is not going to count as four letter, right? It is going to be four letters when the word, like, in the hua form has four letters. You are going to look at the hua version, and if it has four letters, then you are going to say that your mudari must begin with dhamma on alamatul mudari. So this was allama yu'allimu ta'aliman fahuwa mu'allimun. And let's now focus on the word Quran. Okay. So where is this word Quran coming? What do you think is the origin of this word? Is this fa'il, maf'ul, masdar? What does it look like? Yes, it sounds like an idea, recitation, recital, right? Right? Everyone agrees that it is an idea word. Reading. Reading is an idea. Reading is an idea. It's a masdar. So it is said when a word in the masdar has alif noon, that is ziyada, there is something that is more. This alif noon here in this word is indicating that there is not a normal reading. There's a lot of reading. What do you think? Do we read Quran just once in our life, or people read it all the time? There are many thousands, million, billions who are reading Quran at all the times. What are we doing right now? We are reading Allam al Quran. We are reading Quran, right? So when there is kasratul qara'a, when there is extreme in the recitation, this is what is al Quran about. Okay, over and over again. Yes, I like this definition. Yes, we are doing it so much, so much. Just like Subhan. What is Subhan? Kasratut tasbih. Nu'man. Kasratul ni'mah. Udwan. Kasratul adawa. Lot of animosity. Lot of blessing. Lot of glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Subhan. We all agree? Type 1 if you all agree. Alhamdulillah. Is this clear so far? And as we said, if I'm calling this masdar, this word should be fully flexible, because this is not on pattern of Quran. We need to, if you use reading glasses like myself, please wear them, because this word has a faul kalima with dhamma. For fa'alan, faul kalima is going to have a fatha. And so this is not fa'alan, sifa mushabba. Therefore, it is going to be fully flexible. Okay, I hope this is clear to all of you, my dear sisters. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the sign of my blessing is, the sign of my rahmah is, the sign of my mercy is that I taught you Quran. Right? The greatest sign of his mercy is that he taught us Quran. Let's move on. Khalaqal insan. Jumla ismiya, jumla failure. Jumla failure beginning with madin or mudari. Madin. Madin. Who's the file? Every fail has a file. Can you give me the file? Hua. Huh? Visible or hidden? Can you see anything? After khalaqa, it is hidden, because there is nothing after khalaqa. It is hidden. It is hidden. It is therefore called damir mustatir hua. Right? There is no doer after khalaqa. So there is no file after khalaqa. It's because there is no ism in rough status after khalaqa. Therefore, we are going to say that file is damir mustatir hua. Okay. What is the status of this damir mustatir hua, by the way? Very well done, because every doer, whether it is a doer sitting inside a fail, is going to be rough in status, my dear sisters. Every doer should be raf in status. Al-insan. Give me the labeling for al-insan. How will you Arabify it? It is going to be mafulun bihi. Very well done. This jumla failure is complete. So this, is this giving you more information about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is going to be khabru thani. I agree, because Ar-Rahman, he allama al-Quran, khalaqa al-insan. Now let's move on. Khalaqa. Where is this word coming from? And we have to look sarf as well, because we are doing Nahw and sarf, basic Nahw and sarf. So this is family 1, mujarrad, because there is nothing extra here. Kha, lam, qaf are the 3 letters. And I agree, the most common bab of family 1 is nasara, and this word is coming from nasara because we know the ainul kalima in mudare. Ainul kalima in mudare in this bab has what? Dhamma. Very well done. Okay. So who remembers who is the king of family 1? Ainul kalima. Don't forget that, okay? Ainul kalima is the king of form 1 or family 1, because it determines which family, which bab your word is going to go to. So here, khalaqa has a mudare that is yakhluqu. Since ainul kalima, second root letter has a dhamma, therefore this word is from bab nasara. Okay, babe noon. And al-insan, I'm not going to do surf of that, non-surfable. I'm going to go to the 4th verse, allamahul bayan. Allamahul bayan. Now this we have already done, jumla failure. Jumla failure. Here, how many maf'ul are we seeing? 1 or 2? I want everyone to now answer, because only then you are going to benefit, my dear sisters. Okay, there are 2 maf'ul. First one is damir muttasil, which means attached pronoun. Damir muttasil, right? And then is your next one is your al-bayan, right? Al-bayan. So what's the status of who here? What is the status of who here in allamahu? There is a huwa, there's a pronoun in allama. Who remembers that? We just did it in a few minutes ago. Huwa. What's the status of that huwa? Why is that rough and this one nasb? And yes, I get the answers, because that is this one is allama has a damir mustatir huwa, which is the doer, so therefore it is rough in status, and this is an attached pronoun, which is an object, therefore it's a detail, therefore it is going to be nasb in status. And al bayana is fully flexible word, so you know that this is mafulun bihi, and it has a fatha at the end of the word. Is this clear so far, my dear sisters? Type 1 if it is. Alhamdulillah, my dear sisters. Let's go on. Now I see Bismillah here. It is okay. No, there is a verse before it that I have by mistake. Okay. Ash-shamsu wal qamaru bihusban. What are we seeing here? Ash-shamsu wal qamaru. Jumla ismiya. Everyone agrees? Or there are some disagreements in this class, or we are very good Muslim ummah, we are all in full agreement with, few sisters who are answering here. I want everyone to answer, okay? There can be a conflict in this ummah if you want, okay? If there is someone who has a different idea, kindly please, type it right now. Ash-shamsu. Your sentence is beginning with an ism that is rough in status, my dear sisters. It is going to be mubtada of the sentence. What is the labeling for waw? Atf. Al-kamaru. Is it going to be ma'tuf? The people who are answering ma'tuf, absolutely right answer. Absolutely right answer. How are these 2 words connected? Through waw. I want each and every one of you, my dear sisters, if you have been calling this mubtada 1, mubtada 2, stop calling it mubtada 1, mubtada 2. Will you do that for me? You are not going to call it mubtada 1, mubtada 2. You are going to call ash-shamsu mubtada, waw harf atf, and al-kamaru ma'tuf. And that will mean that they go in the same bucket because they are connected through waw. Waw is transferring the status from ash-shamsu to al-kamaru. Is this clear so far? Bihusban. What is that? One word, two words. It is mutalik bil khabar, but before that, it is jar wal majroor, right? It is jar wal majroor, mutalik bil khabar. Two words, be husban. I'm not going to do the surf of ash-shamsu and al-kamaru. They are non-surfable. Do the surf of husban. It is going to be fa'il, maf'ul, zarf, ism ala, or masdar, because it is an idea. It's kind of like a masdar. So it's a masdar. And we have just learned that it's going to be fully flexible because this is not on the pattern of fa'alan, and neither is this word a name. Is this word a name? Husban, calculation, a name? No, it's not a name, so it's going to be fully flexible. For word with alif noon to be partly flexible, it must be name or sifa mushabba. Okay, next is, we have done this, and this is done, and now comes an-najmu wash-shajaru yasjudan. So an-najmu, again, jumla ismiya. An-najmu is going to be mubtada, waw harf atf, as I'm right. Sister Nazneen, do you agree this is harf atf? Waw is harf atf. Should I label it harf atf? Should I call it harf atf? Right? And then ash-shajaru is going to be called ma'tuf, yasjudani. That is also atf, my dear sister. The first waw is also atf, okay? It is joining two sentences. It is joining this sentence, ash-shamsu wal qamaru bi husban, waw atf, and here waw is connecting two sentences. Two jumla ismiyas are connected through waw atf, okay? Waw atf, okay? So yes, judani is going to be jumla failure fi mahalli khabrin, fi mahalli raf'in khabar, okay? What is the status of this word? Is this fail mudare? If it is a jumla failure, is it fail mudare, madin? Tell me that, my dear sisters. I forgot. Okay, it is mudare. And if it is mudare, mudare is mu'arrab, which means it has statuses, which are marfu, mansoob, majzoom. What is the status of this mudare? It is raf in status. Is it raf in status because of what made it marfu? I need an answer. I need a very smart answer. Is this the alif that made it marfu, or is it something else? No. When you, so make it mansoob. Make it mansoob. I need a mansoob form of just judani. I need mansoob and majzoom form of just judani. If you are making it mansoob or majzoom by removing noon, so that means that this noon is something that made your word marfu in status or raf in status. Bi sabutin noon. Mudare marfu bi sabutin noon li'annahu min al-af'al al-khamsa. And we have a video on af'al al-khamsa. Please do go and watch that. It's going to be really beneficial for all the advanced students and intermediate students. I assure you that. So do we have a pronoun here in word yasjudani that is visible? Aliful Isnain is the file, and I 100% agree with Sister Shamim because she was, I think, the first one who wrote that. Or, right? Yes, Aliful Isnain. Is it visible? Should I call it Damir Mustatir or Baris? When something is visible, apparent, it is called Baris. When something is hidden, it is called mustatir. You know the word satar? What is satar? Right? The body parts that must be hidden, right? So the mir mustatir, which is hidden, which is usually in the case of huwa hiya. When you say baris, burizatil jahim, the jahim is going to be made to will be made to come to full view. So something that is baris is something that is visible, that is apparent. Okay. So this alif here is telling you that there are two people, there are two entities doing the action. How many? Two doing the action, and those two are an-najmu wash-shajaru. Yasjudani. Okay. Mudare marfu bi sabutin noon. Because the noon is intact, therefore the mudare is marfu. Wal fa'il aliful isnain. Isnain. What is the meaning of isnain? Who remembers? Two. Very well done. Very well done, my dear sisters. So alif of dual is the doer here. If I in future ask you, do you see a doer here? You are going to tell me yes, and it is this damir muttasil, because this is also an attached pronoun, right? It is attached to the end of the word. But here, what is the status of aliful isnain, my dear sisters? Since this is doing the action, it is rough in status. Very well done. It is going to be rough in status because every doer is going to be rough in status, my dear sisters. Okay. So now let me see what I have on my slides here. So I think this is how we have covered it, right? Ye mubtada is an-najmu, ash-shajaru is ma'tuf, and because of waw, they are going to be in the same bucket. And yes, judani, here, file is attached pronoun alif, and this alif name is named as aliful isnain. Okay, and the word is coming from which family? Now comes the sarf of the family. And it is on the slide too. What is where is this coming from in terms of sarf? Is it salasi mujarrad or mazid fihi? It is mujarrad. It is mujarrad. There is nothing extra. Seen, jim, dal are the root letters. Alif is the pronoun. Noon is the noon of status. Ya is alamatul mudare. Anything extra in this word? Nothing is seen extra in this word. So this word is going to be from salasi, mujarrad, and the word is coming from Babe Noon. And what helped us determine that this is coming from Babe Noon or Nasara clan? Dhamma on the Ainul Kalima. Barakallahu feek. Very well done. That is all that we need to know about this, right? Okay. Now comes, so I have put some slides here for those of you who have never covered this before. Inshallah, these slides will help you determine what is the French we are talking about here, inshallah. Now comes our verse number 7. وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ. Okay. So now وَالسَّمَاءَ. Sentence is beginning. Wow is going to be, let's do the wow first. So wow, okay, let's call it atf. Okay, let's call wow atf. As-samaa. My dear sisters, the word is, throughout the course I've been telling you, your sentence can begin with any ism, but does not mean that sentence is going to be jumla ismiya. Why? Because it should not just be an ism in the beginning of the sentence. The status of the ism also matters, my dear sisters. Okay? Status of an ism also matters in this case. Okay? Since it is not a rough in status, I'm not going to take mubtada as an answer. It's going to be a wrong answer because every mubtada must be rough in status, right? Every mubtada must be rough in status. It is not, so I'm not going to take it as a right answer. I will make you focus on rafa'aha. Rafa'a. Two words. Jumla, failure. Rafa'a is Felun Madin. It is Felun Madin. And the doer is, every fail has a doer. So tell me the doer. Who is the doer? What is ha doing here? It is maf'ul. It is maf'ul. What's the status of ha? Very good job. It is nasbin status. It is nasbin status. And this ha, do you know what is it referring to? As-sama. Why is ha referring to as-samaa? This ha is feminine, yes. And as-samaa, as-samaa is a word that is feminine. Why is it feminine? Which type of feminine is it? It is a herd feminine. Barakallahu feek, my dear sisters. But I have once learned that, words that have ending with alif and hamza are monas qiyasi. Why is this not monas qiyasi? Yes, very well done. There must be the 3 root letters before this alif and hamza. The 3 root letters of a word must be present before this alif and hamza, which is called alif mamduda, for a word to be muannas qiyasi. Very well done. So proud of you all. Okay, now let's see. Waw, at, wada'a, madin, and al-mizan. And who's the doer? Every fail has a doer. And who has the doer? And al-mizan is going to be maf'ul bihi, right? Now, do you see anything in this sentence that is little different, right? The sentence is beginning with an ism that is nasb status, right? Maf'ul bihi is attached here. Maf'ulun bihi is attached here, rafa'aha. But there is something in the beginning of the sentence. Can I call this maf'ulun bihi muqaddam? Why not, Sister Rashida? I agree. I'm not going to call it maf'ulun bihi muqaddam. I agree, but why? Yes, because my fail is engaged with ha. It cannot be engaged with 2 words at the same time. Very well done. So this is going to help you understand this concept. Sister Ashta, stay with me. When your fail is already engaged, with something after it, right? We cannot, and the same thing is referring, this ha is referring to the same thing as as-sama. It is going back to as-samaa. It does not make sense. It does not make sense to say that this is maf'ulun bihi muqaddam. Okay? But every ism is going to be mansoob for a reason. Can this still be maf'ul bihi? Yes, it is maf'ul bihi, but I am going to assume that that fail has been omitted from here. That fail has been dropped. It is maf'ul bihi for li failin mahzoof, right? And the fail that has been omitted is also rafa'a. But why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did so? Why? Yes, that's an important question. What is the main idea of the sentence? Who is the main idea of the sentence? No. Mizan is the end of the sentence. That is from wada'a. Ar-Rahman is the main idea. Sister Samina, you got it right. And stay on that idea. Don't let it go anywhere. Okay? The main idea of this verse is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the main idea. He raised it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also wants you to be paying attention to a few more things. So what Allah did is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here brought as-samaa forward. Though your fail was already engaged with ha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought this as-samaa here so that you start to think about you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started to paint a picture. Okay, here you are now in Surah Ar-Rahman. I am the main idea of these surahs, these verses that are going on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the subject and He is the main idea. But as-samaa, Allah wants you to pay attention to this as well. So to do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought this as-samaa forward, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's just a way how this principle works. Rafa'a, the fail that was before as-samaa, has been omitted. Okay, but this is to incite a curiosity in your minds, that focus on this as well. Okay, focus on this as well. So my dear sister, all my sisters, this bringing forward of as-samaa, how you label it is, you label it as al-mashghul anhu. Al-mashghul anhu. You label rafa'a as mashghul, which is a fail that is engaged with the shaghil called ha. So these are just the labelings. Because this came in the verse, I was not going to start any new topic, but I just want you to know that this is how you label these words. Al-mashghul anhu is as-samaa. Rafa'a is al-mashghul, which is a fail. The fail in this case is called al-mashghul, and ha is going to be called shaghil. Okay, so what's the name for this construction? As-samaa al-mashghul anhu, which is an object that is going to be repeated by the use of the pronoun. The pronoun is going to be called shaghil, and the fail is going to be called al-mashghul. The doer, the file here is going to be file. It's going to be just the file. Yeah, it is a new kind of a sentence, but that's how the surahs work. When you do the Arab of a surah, that's how sometimes things work, that you may come across an idea that has not been taught to you before, but you just briefly go over it. What you are going to take home from this is, you are not going to call it maf'ul bihi muqaddam. Okay, what I want you all to understand from this is, you are not going to call it maf'ul bihi muqaddam. Okay, you are going to just call it maf'ul bihi for a omitted fail. You are going to call rafa'a fail madin, fa'iluhu huwa, ha is going to be maf'ulun bihi, waw harf wada'a fail madin, wal fa'il damir mustatir huwa, and al-mizan is going to be your maf'ulun bihi. Rafa'a, where is this word coming from? We only have 1 minute and we have to do the sarf of rafa'a. Mujarrad or mazid fihi? It is mujarrad. Family 1. There is a clue in this word that can give you an idea of a correct verb. If a word has haruf halqiya, in the faul ainul kalima or lamul kalima, not faul kalima, ainul kalima or lamul kalima of a word is haruful halqiya, the chances are the word is from Fataha clan. What about wada'a? Can we say the same for that? Because it also has lamul kalima, that is haruful halqiya, right? And what about mizan? Al-mizan, midrab. It is ismul ala. The mim kasra, waw, zai, noon were the root letters. Mizan. You can never be confusing this word with other alif noon words. Why? Is noon of this word extra noon, or is a part of the root letter? It's a part of the root letter. In mizan, noon is the part of the root letter, so you should never even think about confusing it with Rahman or Fulan or anything like that, okay? So al-mizan is ismul ala according to the surf. So I'm going to just, stop here. I will have to, because our class time is up. So we have covered up until verse number 7, and inshallah this coming Saturday I'm going to start from verse number 8, and kindly please come prepared with that and go over the concepts that we have covered. Let me stop the recording and take any questions if you have any.